The man took out a pair of handcuffs and cuffed the woman to the bed. He then swallowed a small blue pill, ready to reignite passion with her. However, at 50 years old, his excitement was too much. Just as he was about to begin, he suffered a heart attack. After a violent tremor, he collapsed lifelessly on top of the woman. She struggled to support his body with all her strength, but instead of waking up, he fell heavily to the floor. Her hands were still cuffed to the bedpost and there was no one left to free her. She had no choice but to scream for help, but the villa was in a secluded area with no one around. Thinking her husband was playing a prank, she pleaded with him to get up, but as she saw the blood pooling on the floor, she was overcome with fear and helplessness. As night fell, her tears had already dried up. She then heard a noise at the door and desperately called for help, only to see a stray dog wander in. Drawn by the scent of blood, the dog slowly approached her husband's body. She tried to make noise to scare it away, but the dog acted as if it didn't hear her. It even began licking the blood on the floor. When the dog bit into her husband's arm and started tearing at the flesh, she frantically grabbed a book from the shelf and hurled it at the animal in fury. Watching the dog gnaw at her husband's flesh, she broke down in tears. Then, suddenly, her husband miraculously stood up. Overwhelmed with emotion, she begged him to unlock the handcuffs, but he ignored her, talking only to himself. It was then she realized in horror, her husband was still lying on the floor, staring at the two identical figures before her. She was utterly confused.
Well, I'm pretty sure you just lost your mind. But seeing a dog eating your husband will do that. I mean, if you're gonna have a mental breakdown, that's a pretty great excuse.
Right.
At his urging, she forced herself to focus, locking her gaze on the handcuffs. Around her wrist, she struggled with all her might, enduring the searing pain of metal cutting into her skin. Finally, she pulled one hand free. With one hand liberated, the rest became easier. She broke the bedpost with a strong pull, finally freeing herself. But as she walked toward the door in relief, she was stunned to find she was still cuffed to the bed.
Oh, babe, you're really losing it now.